In this video, I'm going through the practice test for semester 2. And the first question is a multiple choice question, and it says, write the following 3 over x squared in exponent form. So it wants it as a number and a power, or an index or an exponent. And when you have a fraction, this means that the power is negative. So this is 3x to the power of negative 2. So you're using that same number, but it is negative. So the correct answer is this one. And question 2 says, integrate, find the integral of 6x squared in its simplest form. So when you're integrating, you add 1 to the power. So you have 6x 2 plus 1, and you divide by that new power. So 2 plus 1 again. So you have 6x cubed divided by 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So it's 2x cubed, and you must add plus c as well. So the correct answer here is 2x cubed plus c. So it is there. And then we are going to get to the extended response questions. And it wants you to apply what you have done. So before you integrate, you have to turn this into exponent form. So this is 3x to the power of negative 2 minus 2x cubed dx. And then I need to add 1 to the powers. And I am dividing by that new power. So I have 3x to the power of negative 1 divided by negative 1 minus 2x to the power of 4 divided by 4 and plus c. So again, remember the plus c. 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3x to the power of negative 1. And then 2 divided by 4 is a half. So it's minus x over 2 plus c. And question 4 says, find the equation of the curve given that dy over dx is 3x squared plus 1 over x squared, and that the curve passes through to 10. So remember, the first number is x, the last number is y. And to go from dy over dx, which is the gradient, to the equation, that's a process of integration, which is exactly what we were doing up here. So I'm going to be integrating 3x squared plus, and I have to turn that into exponent form. So this is x to the power of negative 2. And then I integrate, so I'm going to add 1 to the power and divide by my new power. I'm going to add 1 to the power and divide by my new power. So I've got y equals, and it is 3x cubed over 3, and then plus x to the power of negative 1 divided by negative 1 plus c. And then I tidy this up a bit. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. So this is y equals x cubed. And then when I divide by negative 1, it's no longer a plus, it's a negative x to the power of negative 1 plus c. And at this point, is where you substitute every x becomes a 2, and then y is a 10. So I now have 10 equals 2 cubed minus 2 to the power of negative 1 plus c. And you can do this on your calculator. So 2 cubed is 8. So 10 equals 8 minus, and 2 to the power of negative 1 is a half plus c. So this is 10 equals 7.5 plus c. To find c, you need to do the opposite. So subtract 7.5 from both sides. And therefore c, which is 10 minus 7.5, is 2.5. So you found c, and the final step is to write the whole equation, and that is y equals x cubed minus x to the power of negative 1, and instead of plus c, I know what c is, so plus 2.5. And question 5 says the curve C has equation y equals f of x is bigger than 0, where dy over dx is 3x minus 5 over root x minus 2, given that the point P for 5, so again this is x and this is y, lies on the curve, find f of x. This is exactly as the question before. It wants you to integrate the gradient. It wants you to substitute 4 and 5 to find c and find the equation. And they've just termed it, the equation is f of x rather than y. So you've got, I'm going to expand, but before I do, I need to turn this into the root x means x to the power of half, but because root x is in the denominator, this is x to the power of negative a half. So I'm going to integrate 3x minus 5x to the power of negative a half. So I'm going to, this is of course an invisible power of 1. So I'm going to add 1 to this power and divide by 2, 1 plus 1. I'm going to add 1 to the power and divide by negative a half plus 1, and there is a plus c. So f of x, or y, is 3x squared over 2 minus 5x to the power of a half over a half. Oh, I seem to have forgotten the minus 2. Minus 2. So the minus 2, I add an x, so it becomes minus 2x. And then plus c. And I need to just tidy this up. This is 5 divided by a half. And you can do that on your calculator, and that will give you a 10. So f of x equals 3x squared over 2 minus 10x to the power of a half minus 2x plus c. And at this point, I substitute the value of x and y. This is y. So y is 5 equals 3. Every x becomes a 4. 4 squared over 2 minus 10, x becomes a 4 to the power of a half, minus 2 times 4 plus c. So I've got 5 equals 24. Again, you put this in the calculator bit by bit. So you would get your calculator and you'd get the fraction and you'd do 3 brackets 4 squared over 2. And you'd write 24 and then minus. And this gives you 20. This gives us 8 plus c. And I would do all of that. So 24 minus 20 minus 8, which gives me minus 4. So 5 equals minus 4 plus c. To reverse that, because it's a negative, you add 4. So c equals 9. And then you write the equation. And the equation is this, of course, but you know what c is. C is 9. So it is 3 over 2x squared minus 10x to the power of a half minus 2x plus 9.